Would you want to watch the Star Wars film sometime?
No, I hate watching movies.
Please, just watch them with us. It will be fun.
No, it won't, but okay then. My first introduction to Star Wars was this and this. Gaming has always been a big part of my life and I have so many good memories with the LEGO games. But even though I did really like the Star Wars LEGO games, they didn't make me want to watch the movies. Because before I watched Star Wars, I didn't really watch movies. I've now later realized that the reason why I didn't like watching movies was because of how much they affected me. It was emotionally draining and I hated that I couldn't control my feelings. And still to this day, watching a proper good movie is a commitment. So I really don't know why I agreed to watch the Star Wars films. My dad had watched The Force Awakens with his colleagues in the cinema, so he got inspired and bought the complete saga at the time as a Christmas present. He wanted to rewatch the films and also show them to me and my siblings. We watched the films 1 through 6 and I remember watching episode 1 and 2 and not always really understanding what was going on. And then episode 3 completely broke me. I couldn't sleep properly until we had finished the films and Anakin was redeemed. I found some footage that my dad had recorded when we saw Return of the Jedi for the first time. As you can see, I seem very happy to be there. I won't include the footage here, but my siblings were just so happy and really excited after we had finished the film. Meanwhile, I looked like this. But anyway, after we had seen episodes 1 to 6, we went to see The Force Awakens. And again, my dad had to convince me. I basically had him spoil the entire film for me before I agreed to go and watch it. Before this, I had been to the cinema maybe 2 times in total, because if you remember, I did not like watching movies. But I went and saw it, not just once, but at least 5 times. The next step in my Star Wars journey was Battlefront. I saw my cousin playing the 2015 Battlefront and I just knew I needed to play that game. First, I sucked. I hadn't played a game like this before and I think my first Walker Assault match I had like close to 30 deaths and maybe 2 kills. But after hours and hours, I slowly started getting better and eventually I was unstoppable. No, but honestly, it's the only game I've ever been genuinely good at. It allows me to play in a way that just suits my playstyle perfectly. Fast, agile and aggressive. I wanted to share my love for Star Wars with my friends in school. One of them said she had seen the films, but they weren't that good. And one claimed she had seen the films, but they were total garbage. The third one hadn't seen any of the films and didn't intend to, based on the other two's opinions. But I just really wanted to talk about Star Wars with someone. The problem was that I was a 13-year-old girl. At least at that age, if you as a girl are vocal about being interested in a subject that's typically something that boys are more interested in, it is often seen as an attempt to get attention. You could tell people thought you had ulterior motives. I didn't want to deal with that. Socializing was hard enough as is. So I turned to the internet. I did find some people that I played Battlefront with, but I still never felt like I really found my place in a community. So when I was looking through my old photos for this video, I found a bunch of pictures like this from my Snapchat memories. I don't know why I took these pictures or why I saved them. I'm sure I didn't send them to anyone, since most of them have text in English and also I didn't really have anyone to send them to anyway. It's a bit sad, but I'm happy that I saved them. They are fun memories to look back at. At some point I found out about the Clone Wars. I tried to convince myself for a very long time that I didn't want to watch it, I probably wouldn't like it anyway, and that Ahsoka seemed really annoying. But eventually I gave in and just bought the Clone Wars on DVD. And safe to say, I loved it. Also, apparently, when I was watching the Clone Wars for the first time, some moments were just too good and I had to pause the show and take a picture. For example, here's the moment when I found out that Tarkin was in the Clone Wars. Then came the announcement of EA's Battlefront 2 and the novel Inferno Squad that would tie in to the campaign. I had never read a Star Wars novel before and never read a novel in English, but I still got the book and read it in 2 days. I don't have the book here right now because I've borrowed it, but I have some footage of it from a video that I did back in 2017 on a YouTube channel that I had that was about Battlefront. In 2018 I took a big step back from the Star Wars community. After The Last Jedi, the fanbase was so divided and it wasn't fun anymore to be on the forums. I then started high school, and even though I tried to fit in Star Wars in any school projects I possibly could, I still stayed away from the Star Wars community. Then in 2020 I started a new YouTube channel. It was supposed to be more of like a lifestyle channel, but I quickly realized that all of my best ideas were about Star Wars. So I figured might as well just make a channel about Star Wars instead. So I did, and here we are now. It's now almost 6 years since I saw Star Wars the first time, and I don't think that 13-year-old me would have ever expected Star Wars to impact my life as much as it did. It has brought me so much joy, and without it, life would be so much harder to deal with. Is that a bit too dramatic? Maybe, but what can I say? It's true. And now at this point, I have met so many just awesome people through this YouTube channel, and it just feels like I have found my way back home. This was a bit of a different type of video. Thank you for bearing with me. And if you've made it this far, I would love to know how you got into Star Wars. And if you're new here, welcome. We normally do a lot more fun things here and focus on being creative around Star Wars. Here is a video that might interest you. I hope I will see all of you again. Until then, may the Force be with you. Hej då!